Hey y'all, thanks for joining me today. I'm Cade and I do a little bit of everything. As many of you, I've played games and for a time did so religiously. I've now taken more of a step back as far as they go and invested my time in other things like writing, music, making my own TTRPG, drawing, working out, and even making these videos. But you're probably wondering about the title. Well, it means just what it says. Today I will be talking about media, escape, death, and how to overcome. Those may seem unrelated, but I promise you they aren't. So let's jump in with a story, or the beginning of one. So I have been playing games with a group of fellow gamers for a couple months, and I made some rather distant connections due to general anxiety and self doubts, but I decided to get to know some of the people in the group better since I didn't have much luck making friends in real life. Well, that actually brings me to my first topic, which is media. As someone who was unpopular, overweight, and generally sensitive, it's safe to say I had trouble making friends at school or at any other sort of social meets for people my age. This led to what I call media disassociation syndrome, or as I'll be referring to it as in this video, MDS. It started small. I watched movies and shows with my family all the time. Eventually, though, I found my first hyperfixation, How to Train Your Dragon. How this movie affected me and an analysis of it will be another video down the road, but for now, the important context is that I was obsessed. I watched it at least once every week, sometimes multiple times a day. I couldn't think outside of the realm of dragons, of fantasy, and of heroes. I drew dragons, I talked dragons, I lived and breathed and thought dragons, not just because they were cool, scaly monsters, but because they were separate from me and the world I so desperately wanted to remove myself from. I soon found other fixations. Second, Star Wars, the galaxy far, far away, where magical night wizards fought with phallic light swords and learned magic by becoming schizophrenic. I mean, by learning to talk to the universe. Jokes aside, I loved it. From clones and hot alien women to abhorrent beast of the depths of hell like the Sarlacc. After that, though, superheroes, Marvel and DC, I fell in love with characters like Black Panther and Blue Beetle far before any live action watchers knew who they were. This made me feel special and, in a way, made me feel unique. I found shows like Ruby, Voltron, Seven Deadly Sins, My Hero Academia, Sword Art Online. I could list shows endlessly that have molded me into who I am now, or that have changed my perspective on life and introduced me to new ideas and ideologies. And I do, or will, in other videos. But this one is about video games. That's right, my holy grail. It all started with a system called the Wii, and specifically Lego Star Wars. My first immersive experience, free time I played, homework time I played, uh, day I played, night I played, and most importantly, when my parents fought, I played. From this small game, on this one console, I formed one of the worst habits I have and have put a lot of power into fighting disassociation, specifically MDS. I use the world and my hands to focus my mind somewhere I wasn't because as a kid I felt scared and hopeless. I couldn't stop the yelling, I just made it worse. So I locked myself in my room or hid in the living room and played to shut out the fighting from my mind. This led to me playing or watching games with my brother all the time, from the Assassin's Creed series to Borderlands to Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, which was one of the best experiences to play just as a couch party. I'd suggest trying it if you can. Great time. But those games were great and definitely forced me against the glass ceiling looking into another world. My face was pressed against the glass, but then came the crack to that glass. Destiny on the PlayStation 3. At a certain point, PlayStation 3 had free online play after the PS4 had come out, so I tried it for the first time ever. Online gaming. Escape. I was, for the first time, truly the hero, the face behind the mask of the hunter, best friend with Cayde 6, the champion, and a destroyer of evil aliens, also the conqueror of the Crucible. I was kinda hype. It fascinated me to not face friends or NPCs, but people from all around the world, and to dominate, to be the main character. Now, I interacted with people some, but I don't remember it too well, and to be fair, they probably only remember a squeaker who was decent at the video game. But this phase went for months, till my brother let me play a game on his PS4. The Shatter. The Monolith, the monopoly of brain rot and teenage attention spans, the true multiverse, Fortnite. This was my true introduction to people online being real. So many people having mics and wanting to talk, making callouts, and screaming slurs. This was it. Not only was my character nothing without me piloting them, but I was the persona. I made my first online friends, and my time sink only multiplied from there, branching into other games and meeting people. But my primary two were Fortnite and Apex Legends. I have about 3,000 hours in Apex and no idea how much I have in Fortnite. These games were my life, and my only friends were online, which further fed into the guttural need to get on the console and play at all times. I had multiple friend groups over different time periods. First, it was a British girl I met, just the two of us. Then I found two awful influences and indulged in every request they made of me for no more than really being comedic effect and being liked. I joined a clan in Apex and had a full trio, including myself, of a great guy that did a bit of everything and was the most hyper-fixated autistic you've ever met, and a nice lady who was a streamer and a cam girl. I even played in an amateur tournament at one point with them. We didn't win any prizes, but I won a game by myself, uh, with no respawns at the end, so that felt pretty great. I met another streamer who is polyamorous and trans and has had the worst in life and still persevered through it. He was a huge inspiration to me and helped me get through some hard times. I trioed in Fortnite with a 32-year-old retired landlord and a girl my age from somewhere in the middle of nowhere, Ice Europe. I have no idea where she was from. She had a cool accent, though. Finally, I clicked with one of my best friends ever and joined a friend group of the craziest, nerdy Mexicans from the middle of the hood. These guys were my main friend group for a long time, and relatively still are. But this brings me back to the beginning of my story. I was talking about, at the beginning of this video originally, the three I hung out with. But let me explain a bit more who they were. Once again, there was the British girl. Let's call her K. There was my best friend. We can call him W. And a third friend I was just getting to become close with, and let's call him L. For a couple of months, we got on every day and played. Until we didn't. Death. Let's add a fourth character and call him F. F had once been really good friends with L, but they had a fight and drifted apart a bit. One day, I hop on at our normal time, waiting for everyone to get on, and F joins the party, which was a bit out of the normal. I ask him where everyone is. He says L is dead. Since F had a history of making awful jokes, I went off on him for telling me such an awful thing, only to just be kidding about it. Then he said he wasn't joking, and my heart dropped. I had recently had a few deeper conversations with L late at night, and we were growing really close. But just like that, he was gone, and my safe haven from the real world wasn't as separate as I thought. The awful events of real life seeped into my haven, and I broke. I couldn't eat, I couldn't focus, I only played games with my best friend, and we both went into a deep depression and fed off of each other in a relatively negative cycle for a long time. My grades dropped, and I refused to tell anybody what was going on. My brother moved out, and the divide between my mother and my father became worse. My grandmother had died. Soon after that, my mother had a surgery that almost killed her, and I was left alone in the house with my father. I lost 40 pounds and was forced to a new school halfway through the year. My whole life was crumbling around me, and all I had was video games. So I latched onto it, and it was all I did. I hung out with W every day, and we got to know each other to a point no one else did. But it was clear at the time that we were both going downhill, and maybe a big part of that was me dragging him down. I wasn't a good friend to the only one I had, and I'm sorry about that. I did what I did, but I'm also glad with where I am now, and it's hard to make sense of what that means. And that's just me being honest, because I don't know what you're going on and going through in your life. But I doubt I'm the only person who has a similar experience of knowing they need to do certain things and those things hurting, but coming out knowing you're a better person. So be proud and stay strong. So after that, I kind of dropped off the face of the earth and worked a summer job where I had no access to anything. Me and W have reconnected since and are still close as brothers. I love him like one, but I learned sometimes a season of isolation is needed as a reset. But that season, if handled correctly, isn't always lonely. How to overcome. You may be thinking this video is a pity party, but I promise you it's the opposite. It's a warning that online isn't the only life you have. And yes, those experiences you have and friends you make are real and valid, but that's not all you have. You may also be wondering how I got where I am. Now, it was a long journey, but the best advice I can give is to limit media consumption and start media creation, whether that's art, music, poetry, writing, photography, culinary, or even commentary like making these videos. Those are the best things you can do to help pull yourself out of the hole you may be in. Creating helps rewire your brain and take control of things you once thought you had none on. It helps you find purpose and enjoyment in life. It's one of the biggest reasons I'm where I am, but the largest is God. It may seem preachy, but in reality, lots of people I've known for years have noticed something different about me, an air of peace and of joy. My own sister asked me what medications I was taking because I was doing so much better, and she kind of lost her mind on me when I told her that I had completely dropped medication other than allergy meds, and I had just been praying and gotten into the Bible. This is the best advice I can give, but if you are in a hole like I was, I'll be praying for you. Just hold on. Whether or not you accept the God advice, though, is up to you and a very personal journey I won't push because I have no right to. At the end of the day, where you stand with God in life is up to you. But ultimately, I suggest you become a creator and find joy in giving it to others. If you can, you will find peace and have a great and fulfilling life. There will still be hard days. I won't sugarcoat that. And whether you accept the spiritual advice or not, life will be hard. And most days aren't going to be fun. There will be days where you fight demons, metaphorically or spiritually, and you won't win every battle. However, when you can, find where you are meant to be and what you are meant to be doing. Your quality of life will drastically increase and life will become worth living. You will get tired of just surviving and eventually meet a breaking point where you realize your life needs to make an impact. And all of that is rooted in creation and our ability to do so. Whether you think you are a creator or not, you are. Even solving a math problem takes creativity, and your type may be different from others, but at the end of the day, we all desire to make a change. That change may not be big, but I can tell you, even if you only positively influence one person, you made the world a better place. And once we can set aside ego and we are fine with a small but good change, we will see so many occur together to make a huge, unbelievable ripple of hope. That's my goal with everything I do, to create something that can help restore hope or help someone find enjoyment in something they didn't before, or to multiply the enjoyment that was already there. Because I understand what living without those feels like. I hope you enjoyed this video. Feel free to like and subscribe and comment suggestions on future topics you would like me to cover or life advice you would like me to give. And remember, folks, drink some water, get some sun, and get off your electronics some. Stay blessed, stay creative, and stay caring. This is Cade, signing off. I love you, but God loves you more. Have a blessed day.